Greetings and salutations. So I logged on to another game. I wanted to do a an update or a wish list for Conan Exiles, and there's a few feature sets that I would like. Ooh, I think I got some laggy, some choppiness going on. Let me change some of the settings down. Options. Let's go and high. Texture. We can go medium because it doesn't high. Let's try resolution scale. Let's try this just to get it there. And I turn the gamma resume. Let's see if that creates a smooth recording. Yeah, that seems to be okay. So what I wanted to capture was there's a storm, and obviously Exiles has a storm. And part of the reason for me creating this video is I wanted to kind of show. Let me ditch some of this. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Um, there we go. One of the things is I wanted to kind of capture. Now there's not a full blown like storm, but you can see the seas out there are definitely um, more aggressive. And when you sail them, and that's one of the feature sets that I really like about this game. And Valheim is another one that really captures. You can see the sun's coming up. And what they've done is hit I. What they've done here, just to kind of give some context, because if you're not a part, so each one of these tiles is its own zone. So they figured out how to stitch all of these zones together to create basically a globe, and you can sail from here all the way and come out on this side and sail all the way across here, and it's basically it's a circle, but it's represented through this grid system, or you can go from north to south or whatever. And and I'm not soliciting that, or saying that Conan should come up with a grid system or stitch maps together. What I'm kind of saying is that it would be nice if his Conan could make their oceans more interactive, right? Instead, because what you realize is after playing a few other titles like Valheim and Atlas, and even Ark, you realize that the oceans are. Let me drop this. Kind of forget. I have been so long since I played. I kind of forget some of the. There we go. You kind of forget some of the, and you realize that it's a big ocean, and there's fish out here swimming around, and you can harpoon them, and you can interact with them, and then eventually a shark will come up and try to eat you, and like watch me, right, and then me swim down. I know it's super dark, and I have the gamma turned all the way up, so it does. There you go. It does a really good job. And so you create like a diving suit and all these different mechanics. And I can even pick this thing up if I press E, right? Let me press E. Did I get it? Yep, I got it. So right here I have this fish. And the reason why I'm using this game as an example is because it's an apples to apples comparison. It's a Unreal Engine. Let me drop the fish. There we go. See, I dropped the fish, and I'm able to chop the fish up now. And so the oceans have if I can get lined up on it, there we go. The oceans have a lot more interaction, um, and a lot more immersion than the Exiles does. And I think the way ahead for Exiles, and I know some people will disagree, but I think the way ahead and you see those oceans, and you can sail from island to island, is to kind of take a step back and do a like a 2.0 and try to get the oceans to where they're functional and to where you can put boats on them. And because the reason why is you develop an asset that you can use later on in other maps and other titles. And so you just create a series of systems that become plug and play in whatever endeavor that you want to do. And an active ocean that you can sail on would be a good mechanic to implement in any game. And I think you would be able to use the Isle of Septa, for example. If you could get that ocean to where it was more interactive, you didn't have to re-engineer the whole bottom, but if you could just get the water to where it could be sailed on and it had a rough sea and a calm sea, and you could place a boat on it, and you could sail around the item, and or if you could put a raft and have a movable base, I think that would be a rewarding playable experience. I threw down some chests and I can't find up there. And I think that would be a rewarding playable experience. And so as a mechanic, a game mechanic, that's something I definitely would like to see implemented in Conan Exiles or Isle of Sipta is a ocean boat mechanic. So that way, you can there we go, throw down some fish. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of the same, like the fireplace. And of course, I got to put some wood in there. We're gonna chop a little wood. I got some sap. And I'm not advocating this title at all. I'm just trying to capture. I light the fire. It's gonna cook my fish, and then I'm gonna go right. It's a 5 times weekend, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll play a little bit. But I realize in some areas there's a lot more. It's not as linear. Like even though Conan is an open world experience, there's a lot more going on in Atlas and Ark than there is in Conan. Now I'm not saying they're better games. There's just a lot more going on, like the breeding system. And Conan has kind of done something similar to that with the thrall system and how you get the random perks, but the perk system unfortunately is garbage, and they need to rework that perk system to where the warriors only get warrior perks, archers only get archer perks. The beast, are put into like categories. So basilisks, crocodiles, and let's say snakes get one. Reptiles get a set of perks, and then bears, lions, tigers, or all your big cats get a set of perks, like feline perks. And this is why, like for the warrior perks, back to an example, one of the things that needs to be implemented is like, and they need to kind of have something to have a sense of humor, like wounded knee, right? Where if you have the chance of rolling wounded knee and you have a 30% movement reduction, but it's they've been talking about that in Skyrim for 15 years. I had a wounded knee back in battle. So you implemented the perk wounded knee, 30% movement reduction, and really tailor those perks. Let's say you have 20 perks or 30 perks that you could randomly roll on, and they give your plus 15 strength or your plus 10 strength, the same way that you currently have the current system, to where if you fall within a category of 15 to 20 strength, you have a chance of getting, X number of perks percentage wise is fine. It's just the perks that you get. It's super frustrating to end up with an archer perk when you have a warrior, or if you're trying to level up archers and you end up with negative warrior perks, and it's just garbage. So the perk system, it's good in concept, but bad in implementation. So just to kind of revisit the perk system, and it's by no means, am I by no means, there's just a feature set that I would like to see added to the game, and that's this ocean. I would really love to see a vibrant ocean and tide system implemented in Conan Exiles, to where it was functional and it worked. And you could use the crafting system on the current pieces, so you can move a raft. you know that's definitely something that I would like to see in Exiles. But as always, thank you for watching.